I'm so excited for people to see this. Yep.
If you're not familiar with Pillowman, basically it's a bunch of bad things that happen that seem to be based on the stories of
this
writer.
Can an artist be made, and how much responsibility do artists have for what their work inspires?
Is this the Pillowman that you would have seen internationally, or is this more a South African disambiguation of it? Welcome back to the Baascast. My name is Baas de Beer, this is my cast, and on the couch next to me for this Baascast brief, I have Ildi, whose surname I can't pronounce. Well, actually, mind you, since I met you, your surname kind of changed, didn't it?
It got longer.
What's it now?
So it was Kungl, and now it is Kungl van der Linde.
I am talking to Ildi Kungl van der Linde.
Well done.
Who apparently decides to name herself after every word she can find in the dictionary.
Yeah.
That is because she is not only an entertaining entity in her own right, but also a producer, a theater actor, an all-round nice person. And today we're talking about Pillowman, which is your exciting production that you're putting on the stage at the theater on the Sqaure.
Yes,
I got the name right.
You did. Congratulations. You're good with names today.
No, I've got notes. Listen, I want to start things off just by saying thanks for allowing me to come and talk to you about your show. Pillowman obviously being a very well-known, renowned, and shall we say slightly controversial international production, and you decided to bring it to the audience in South Africa. Why and why now?
So, the Pillowman, a lot of people know Martin McDonagh, and the non-theater goers will know him from his Hollywood movies like In Bruges, Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, Seven Psychopaths. Theater goers would know him from The Beauty Queen of Linde. My Irish sister-in-law will kill me for the pronunciation of that one, but no one's perfect. And the Pillowman, I saw that one in uni. It was one of the B-Techs performed it on stage, and this was, well, I don't want to give my age away, but about 10 years ago.
Oh, university, not uni like in uni, Julie.
Oh, sorry, no.
June.
No. I'm not peppering in the Afrikaans yet. No, in university, at the TUT, yes. So it has not left me since. And there's been very few productions that I've seen that have stuck with me that long, that vividly, that I've not been able to let it go. And then I've got so sick and tired in my olden days now of just doing work to pay bills, as we all do, I presume, and taking on cuck roles, again, just to pay bills. And I wanted to do something that meant something to me, that meant something to maybe the people around me, and that would reignite the joy we feel of stage. And yeah, you get your like plain old comedies and your plain dark things. I wanted to bring those two worlds together because I like to laugh and I like to make people scared. And this does both.
Well, Pillowman being renowned as a very dark comedy with some, I don't want to say satirical points probably, but it's really got subtle, I say subtle very loosely, references to what's happening in real life, but presented in a macabre, dark manner.
Yes.
How do you find yourself engaging with such a subject matter, but keeping yourself professional enough to play the objective role of producer, but then also, if I understand correctly, climb in as the actress in the setting? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I'm producer, director, and one of the actors in it. It is a very difficult thing to separate those three different entities. Hence why I brought in my bestie, Gugu, as the assistant director to help me when I can't separate. Because it's very hard to direct yourself in that instance. And with regards to all the subject material and remaining professional with everything that it brings, I think it's less about separating and more about embracing, to be honest. If we can't ignore the parts of the script that feel too real.
Okay.
It's delving into it, embracing it, and making it part of the show that makes it so fresh, in my opinion. I hope that answers your question. I forgot your question halfway through.
Don't worry, me too. No, actually, that does make sense because I know for a fact that if you are in the role of having to critique yourself, it is very hard because either you're going to be harder on yourself, as the director to say, oh, actually, I was kind of cuck, and everyone else might think you were good in what you did. But also the inverse is probably possible to say, I'm okay because I'm the producer. How important is it for you to then therefore set up a proper team around you? You mentioned Gugu as your, the second director?
My assistant director.
I'm
Or
not
as
well
director
versed.
for short.
As director. I mean, direct that ass, baby.
Exactly.
And taking a look at the cast that you've got around you, your technical crew, and so, how do you go about structuring that team specifically for this play?
So everyone from the cast to the crew in this was hand selected. Because this is my first time in the directorial and producing stages, I didn't do a big open audition, anything like that. So I handpicked everyone. And I wanted it specifically with relation to the cast to be people who I know have skills and talents and who I gel with, but who also don't have fully booked cards. To give the people the opportunity who have the skills but don't necessarily get the bookings. And with regards to the production team, the other person is my husband. And I have to like him. The law says so.
I mean,
yeah, but he also keeps me grounded when I start panicking, and both him and Gugu supply a really good sounding board for myself to keep me on track, to keep me sane. I phone them a lot and I'm like, does this make sense? And then I go on a 20-minute tangent of something that could have taken 2 minutes, and they happily hear me out and keep me focused. And yeah. And then when it comes to the artists that are part of this, again, hand-selected, they are such amazing people to work with and to see the vast talent that this country has got. And I couldn't be more proud to be working with the people I'm working with.
So basically what I hear is it's not just a case of, I know a couple of people, let's by default pick the friends to be part of it. This is a very deliberate process to cast properly, but from your own pool of artists available to
my
you.
friends are just insanely talented. It's not my fault.
There you go. If you want to be talented, befriend Ildi.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got a question for you then, and it's something that's been bugging me about local adaptations of international performances. And I know that many theatre goers are split down the middle about this.
I've got strong feelings about this.
It is the idea that sometimes you watch a play in South Africa, and sure, it's got the name of the international, but it's completely different. Not storyline necessarily wise, but you know what I'm saying. It's been South Africanized so much that it doesn't really ring true to the original. But then other people will go and watch a play that's been done. I want to do it to the book, to the original. And let's be honest, with the South African production budget of 32 Rand and a chappie, you can't necessarily pull off Mamma Mia.
No.
So what was the most important line for you there, and where do you stand on that side? Is this the Pillowman that you would have seen internationally, or is this more a South African disambiguation of it?
I've got very strong feelings about people South Africanizing international plays. Remember I told you about The Beauty Queen of Lanane being one of his most famous works in South Africa as well? Well, I've seen a version of that where they literally changed the entire Irish countryside setting to somewhere like Benoni.
The Beauty Queen of Benoni.
Basically. And it was... No, it loses the soul, it loses the juice. Not to say some people can't do it right, but I'm in general a believer of the script's the script. I am in no position to change what someone as smart as Martin McDonagh wrote. How dare I?
Yeah, otherwise you sit with a Game of Thrones situation. Let me tell you this, you'll freaking love this and hate it at the same time. I was in a production years ago, technically Mamma Mia, except due to copyright issues and rewritings and making it appropriate for the community where we were at, it was written as Mamma Mimi. And some, shall we say, religious folks would have had an issue with, the whole infidelity and not being sure the daddy. So we had a conclusion to that that's the daddy. And I was the daddy. I know. But you pertinently mentioned to me that, you don't shy away from showing the darkness and showing the things that might be, shall we say, controversial or offensive to people in South Africa because they need to be involved, I think, in this darker form of the art as well. Yeah. So do you at all anticipate any negative backlash of this production, being on such an auspicious theatre space?
I mean, yes. As much as we like to think, everyone's going to love it, there is a lot of dark themes. It touches upon some religious aspects. It touches upon a lot of things we don't like to talk about in polite conversation that will upset some people. But that's half the point for me. If theatre doesn't at least slightly upset you, why go? So, yeah, but that's the thing. If people leave halfway through, well, there's no refunds, babes.
I like that. And as long as, the offense comes, or the reaction or whatever it is, the upset, comes from the content and not the delivery.
Yes. Yeah, don't complain about that. We worked very hard.
Or,
and also, it's not shock for shock value. Yeah. There's too much of that around as well. It means something. What everything is, it's shrouded in metaphor. It's in themes, everything like that. It's not just, Sausage Party, the movie, but on stage, which I hate.
I'd love to watch Sausage Party, the movie, on stage, because of the thing. It should be. Imagine you sell tickets to a show that's called Sausage Party on stage, and all that you do is literally just have two dudes fleeing Viennas at each other for half an hour.
Okay, we're making this happen next year, okay?
That is hilarious.
Yes.
I'll do the opening for that show. Listen, you've got such an integrated artistic element to the show. Bringing in local talent beyond the theatre, the normal theatre scope. You've got digital artists and art exhibitions essentially taking part in conjunction with this theatre production. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and make me understand it?
Of course. So within the story, not to give away much spoilers, but there is a lot of short stories being told by the writer of the things. And where a lot of the productions have maybe had actors acted out, there's been a million ways that people have interpreted this. And I think that's how Martin would have wanted it. So what I've gone with is that I've hired a lot of local artists, like you said, illustrators, digital designers, painters, sketchers, a whole bunch of people. And each one of them has chosen one of those stories and is bringing it to life in their own style. I have tried to interfere as little as humanly possible to make it their own. And
so you basically gave a brief and said, this is the picture, now you do your thing with it.
I was like, which story speaks to you? Go. Okay. And I've gotten a few clips of what they're doing so far. Some of them are done, some of them are almost done. And it's just, I'm so excited for people to see this. And I think it's such a unique thing as well, like I said earlier, to showcase the raw talent of our local people. And they're all like female artists as well. Yep.
Go, women power.
I got to support my own, Also, the men I contacted ignored me, so I pivoted. It's fine.
That sounded like a coming out story to me now. The men I contacted all ignored me, so, I pivoted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's the basics of it. And before and after the show, there will be like a small little exhibition, so to speak. Like as you walk to the theatre, a lot of the different arts from these artists are going to be portrayed. You can purchase some if you want. You can look at some if you want. You can get their contact details. They'll draw your wedding portfolio. I don't know. But
I love that you are essentially not just putting up a show and using local talent, but giving them an opportunity to express themselves.
I want to give them a voice and a platform so people know about them.
I need to know from you, what is wrong with South African theatre and why are people not attending it as much as they should? In one sentence or less.
Damn, okay.
Ask a thespian to compress something into one sentence and they get stumped.
That's the difficult part. I think our attention spans are shortened. That is my one sentence. People look at their phones and you're scrolling through a bajillion videos in 10 seconds. They don't want to sit for 2.5 hours and watch something, but they'll do it for the movies and pay 1,000 rand for a popcorn, but they won't come to the theater.
I have to differ from you. Like, I've gone to the movies maybe once or twice in the last, since lockdown.
Yeah.
I realized that I don't find joy in that hour-and-a-half thing anymore, that I can't do other things because ADHD, whatever it is.
All those letters.
Listen, completely.
See, that's the problem.
I know.
You're the problem.
No, I believe that if anyone put up a show that I can find relatable and gives me multiple streams of information coming in, not just look at the story and this is the story. And that's why I'm so excited about what you're doing, because I can immerse myself in the art, I can see a message, and I can, actually just appreciate the artists and the artistry. And the one question that I do want to ask you before we start doing nice housekeeping things like where it is and when it is, the idea of always needing a message or a lesson in plays is something that I've personally got to struggle with. I remember years ago, actually, mind you, that was Gugu's one play that I went to see.
Slapglass?
No, way before that. No, it was Gugu. I can't remember. It was like
It was a human,
yonks ago. And it was, all apartheid and stuff or AIDS. I can't fucking remember. But it feels like every African story needs some sort of a deep moral life lesson. What is the lesson of Pillowman?
That depends what you take out of it. Like, that's the beauty of Pillowman. There's so much in it without it feeling forced that everyone's going to take something different. For me, it's about legacy. Can an artist be made? And how much responsibility do artists have for what their work inspires?
Ooh.
That's that's the message for me. But again, if you just walk in, go, that was cool, and leave, that's not wrong either. You don't have to dig for meaning in it if you don't want to.
And I mean, just to be clear, Pillowman came out way before, what was that TV series, Castle? Where, if you're not familiar with Pillowman, basically in a nutshell, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a bunch of bad things that happen that seem to be based on the stories of
this
writer.
Exactly, and he's being interrogated about it. Yeah, it is very Castle, but Martin came first. Okay?
Now we know he's the chicken or the egg.
Yes.
Listen, if someone's watching this now and they're sitting there at home thinking, I want to do that. I want to become part of some drama thing. I want to do the theater. But, they didn't go study arts. They didn't study drama. They didn't go to Pro Arte or AFTA or whatever the places is where people study. I don't know. How does one go about doing that? And especially in a sphere like South Africa, where, let's be honest, 99% of people doing that will get stuck in community theatre and paying to play. How do you go about getting yourself on a proper stage, getting into the acting business?
Well, first I'd say don't. And then if you still want to, then look at masterclasses, workshops, things like that. Start preparing yourself, because it is a grueling process. Auditions, things like that, are not easy on anybody. Have a monologue in your back pocket, ready to go. If someone stops you on the street and goes, hey, I'm casting for this, go monologue. You have to be able to go right now. And for that, there's free masterclasses at the State Theatre a lot of the times. There's workshops. There's a lot of things around that you can delve into. Google books, things like that. Educate yourself first, because even if you have raw talent, it means nothing if you can't apply it. And then try to get to know people. That's the hardest thing, that this industry is who you know as much as what you know. Because like I said, that's also very important. And again, if I was an expert on how to be in theatre, I would have done it long ago instead of having to do my own play now at the ripe old age of,
experienced. I mean, challenges abound, as you can see. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, where the hell are they sitting? We are literally sitting in your garage, which is not a man cave.
It's not a man cave for those people living in my complex who want to complain.
Body corporate, it's not a man cave. It is a garage that happens to have a couch in it and occasionally a couple of thespians.
Yes, we rehearse in my garage like a good band.
Even though this couch makes it look like it could have a different purpose as well. Just saying. Listen, Ildi, thank you so much for bringing this production to us, for inviting me to come and chat to you. If someone wants to go and watch it, if they want to go and see it, where, what, why, when, how?
All that lovely stuff. So it is from the 18th of February up until the 2nd of March. Every weekday except Mondays, and we only have one Sunday. So in the week, it's 7:30 p.m. because no one wants to go to theatre in the morning.
It would be weird, 7:30 in the morning.
So weird. No coffee in you yet, and you got to watch that. And then on Saturdays, it is at 4 o'clock and at 8 o'clock. Sweet. And then the one Sunday, the last show, the second, that would be at 3.
There you go. Pillowman, I feel that's not the full title. What was it?
The Pillowman.
The Pillowman.
State Theatre.
No, fuck. Let me redo that thing.
It is at Theatre on the Sqaure in Sandton. You can get your tickets at Theatre on the Sqaure. Webtickets, you can get it at Pick n Pay, I think, if you're doing your groceries.
Click on the links in the description.
Do the things and the things that are the things to be done. And you can donate a ticket if you are outside of the province or the country, or you broke your leg and you can't come. Although
it's a great Valentine's Day gift. Instead of flowers, buy someone a ticket or 3. I don't know, if you've got a polyamorous relationship, take all your people.
Yeah.
Wherever you want. Ildi, good luck.
PG-16 though, don't bring the kids.
Take all the people that you want as long as they're over 16.
Yes.
And consenting adults.
Yes.
Listen, thank you so much. break a leg, and don't mention Macbeth.
We're not in a theatre. It's fine. Thank you.
Oh, I've been Baas de Beer. That's Ildi Kungl van der Linde. Did I get it right?
You did. Well done. High five.
Yes! Have a lovely one. And if you're interested to know a little bit more about it, I am having a chat with my dear friend Gugu in a full Baascast. Click a card.
Ooh, my bestie. Cool.
This is how we end it.
Okay, cool. Bye.